the last 3 years alone, women have become the majority of the American workforce, taken the lead in earning PhDs, and have run for the nation's top 2 elected political positions. So why do women still struggle to exert influence and achieve goals? In her new book, No Excuses, activist Gloria Feldt says women have all the tools they need to succeed, but must first change the way they think about power.
In so many ways, this is women's moment. It seems like all the rest of the world knows it. You know, we have everything from Nicholas Kristof and Cheryl Wooden's book, Half the Sky, to McKinsey and Company saying that companies that have more women on their management teams have a better return on investment. Marketers know that women buy 85% of the consumer goods, and so that's who they really care about and that's who they market to. But I don't think that women know it yet.
Despite all the attention directed towards women, they, on average, continue to earn less than men. Women represent only 3% of Fortune 500 CEOs and 17% of members of Congress.
At the rate women are advancing toward parity in work, politics, or even in negotiating those personal relationships and how we divvy up things at home, at the rate we're going, it'll be 70 years before we reach parity.
So how can women go about speeding up the process? Feldt, former president of Planned Parenthood, says women should rid themselves of complacency.
One of the things that happens when you win just enough is that everybody starts to think that, well, the job is done. Every door has been opened at least once by women, with the exception, of course, of the presidency of the United States, as we know. But even that, we've seen tremendous progress by having had a very viable candidate who almost won. And so people can think, well, the job is done. But the job isn't done. It's far from done. And I think the real barrier now is not so much the external barriers, but it's the internal barriers that women have ourselves. We're accustomed to living in a culture that doesn't raise us with the intention to go through those doors.
In No Excuses, Feldt outlines several power tools women can use to secure equality and justice.
Number one, we need to know our history so that we can create the future of our choice. We need for young girls and women to learn about whose shoulders they stand on, what it took to get here. They don't learn that in school. And they may see Gloria Steinem in her aviator glasses, but that's about all they'll get of women's history. So just seeing that women are and women do and women can be helps immensely. But I also think that we need to look at ourselves, those of us who are older, and know that it's our responsibility to tell our stories to younger women, to our daughters, our friends, our nieces. We need to tell our stories. And they want to hear those stories.
Another of Feldt's power tools, embrace controversy, something she says civil rights activists have handled much better than feminists.
Sexism is much more underground. It is so deep. It is so deep. And when that gender power balance begins to change, that is so gut level frightening to so many people. It changes everything. And it's just not as visible, I think, as racism. I also frankly think that the civil rights movement and the gay rights movement too are much more willing to confront the ism when they come upon it. And that women need to learn to be much stronger and not fear the controversy of hitting it head on when they see sexism.
Feldt says today's shifting gender roles have left some couples confused about how to balance work and home. But drawing on another one of her tools, Carpe the Chaos, she says women should use this time to work towards parity.
I believe that the next great wave of the feminist movement ought to be young women and young men joining together to change the workplace so that they can both have a life and earn a living. The childbearing years are very challenging for women. The workplace was designed for a man who had a wife at home to take care of all the details of life. Now is the moment to make that change. There's enough chaos going on in our world, and chaos is always opportunity to make those kinds of changes.